Although there are a lot of great episodes that come out of Cuphead so far, quite possibly the most important one is the last of the 12 episodes out right now, and here's why everyone is talking about Miss Chalice. Also plug in my Discord. The episode starts with Cuphead and Mugman trying to figure out where Elder Kettle hid the cookies, eventually learning that he put it above his head while he sleeps. While Elder Kettle is a pretty good character, his highlight episode would be an episode or two before this. Here, he simply reacts to losing his glasses and he would pretty much be out of the picture for the rest of this episode. The majority of this comes from Cuphead, Mugman, and a new person that they would meet at the opticians. After seeing some lovely art of the city, something that we would see a little bit in the show, although there's a lot of different places that we end up seeing, so it's not specifically the city, I want to bring up something that I noticed just right off the bat.
You mean to tell me you two couldn't get a cookie jar from a sleeping old man?
Look, lady, can you fix him or not?
Of course, but I don't like your tone.
I really do just want to focus on who we would be seeing later on here, but just to bring this up in a minor point, in a sea of shows that are justifiably sensitive towards, a lot of topics and have very nice and sweet characters, Cuphead is a mean show. And whether it is to emulate the meaner in comparison nature of the last millennium or just rolling with the aesthetic and implications of the game, I love it. Now, is this to say that Cuphead in particular is Rick Sanchez level of being mean? Not at all. When I say mean characters, I just mean not overly nice characters. Your SpongeBobs, your Loos, your Lincolns, your Craigs. Just characters whose niceness is not really near at the forefront of what represents them as a character. It's what gravitated me towards Gumball or Kid Cosmic or Gary from Final Space or Tulip from the first season of Infinity Train, or even back in the day with shows like Ed, Edd and Eddy, Foster's Home, Billy and Mandy. All of these shows not just having confrontations between the good guys and bad guys, but confrontations and arguments amongst each other. Just a rougher atmosphere than some of their peers. And I'll point it out more in another video, but until then, let's focus on the woman of the hour.
When you're blue and feeling down, you gotta spread that sunshine all around. You gotta turn that frown upside down and sail across a rainbow. Click your heels, go, 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 and dance across a rainbow. What the heck was that?
This is Miss Chalice, an upcoming character within the delicious Last Course DLC. And within the show, calling her a charmer is an understatement. She possesses the ability to persuade anyone within her sight to do as she bids, using her appearance, singing, and dancing abilities in a seemingly improvised way. When you combine it with her amazing design, lovely Brooklyn accent, and a natural cohesion in what is a rubber hose inspired style, with amazing music laid down already, who better to be the protagonist for Cuphead? She's also a wanted criminal, as Cuphead and Mugman abandon the glasses, leaning into their curious tendencies to see who she really is. After charming what was a very moody optician who mentioned earlier that she hates music.
You seen a Chalice run past here? Oops, sorry.
She's portrayed to be a loose cannon, using the gift that she has not only to get away from the police, but also to obtain free food and a free show. Although other characters have been built up to that are reoccurring, like the Devil, King Dice, and Pork Rind, what none of those characters had that this character does is an element of mystery. We already knew much of what the Devil represented after the first few episodes, even if you didn't know anything about the game, and King Dice was introduced quite well in his episode. But Chalice so far just seems like a person of interest, someone to keep your eye on because the full story isn't there. We're only seeing like 10% of what may lie below, and Cuphead and Mugman agree, sneaking into the movies to find her, only to realize that she not only left, but realized that she was being followed.
All right, who are you two working for? Why are you following me? Spill the beans or you'll be spilling milk. We just want to learn how you get so much free stuff. And maybe hang out.
Another part for another time, but Cuphead and Mugman's dynamic is built really well. I will say that even they take a backseat to Miss Chalice, and for good reason, given what we are about to go through. I will say that the episode completely throws out the glasses part, not even giving us something as small as, hey, repairing these glasses will take a week or something like that. And while it isn't the biggest issue, this series so far isn't known for just tossing something in the air and expecting you to forget about it, so I hope that that loose end comes back to be tied. Between Cuphead's underwhelming plea to be being cool being that he stole cookies, and Mugman's complete burial of that by admitting that they actually never got around to it, Miss Chalice completely susses out their story, like she's speedrunning LA Noire, but decides that their pathetic story, her words not mine, is grounds for taking them on a trip around the city with a new musical number, Turning Up the Charm. It reveals how out of their depth Cuphead and Mugman are, being that while they do get into a lot of trouble, it's usually not in an exploitive sense, but an ignorant sense, which allows for their knucklehead adventures to be seen in an entertaining light, and not a mean-spirited one. However, Miss Chalice is self-aware that her charm allows for her to get away with illegal activity, and that's what makes her character more neutral in alignment. The music is great, and I wish I can show more, but YouTube's copyright would break my mugs if I even attempt, so you're just gonna have to take my panda word for it.
You ready for your test? Test? Come on, you two are naturals. All you gotta do is charm your way past that guy.
However, we get to the big moment, and it has some important things to note. Miss Chalice, in a mutual fashion, expresses her interest in sticking around Cuphead and Mugman so long as they can keep up. She brings them to the cookie factory, which is actually a wholesome gesture given that it shows that she was listening to their story, and does want to help, even if it is in her own chaotic, neutral way. Throughout the show, it has been shown that Cuphead and Mugman stumble their way through the success and survival of themselves, as well as the protection of Cuphead's soul. More on that in another video. Ironically, of a game that requires a lot of coordination and skill, Cuphead and Mugman have the grace of a wet CVS receipt. They have survived all of their struggles up to this point, but all of those struggles have been out of ignorance and goofing off. This is punching above their weight, actually attempting trespassing, an illegal activity, using charm that they've only recently became aware about, much less adjusted to. Regardless what you think of them, they have been portrayed to be childlike and needing more guidance than a wild card like Miss Chalice would be able to offer. As the music cleverly indicates, they were failing while attempting to charm, needing Miss Chalice to carry them, saving the day, letting them get inside.
Here's your surprise! Is this a cookie factory? And it's all you can eat.
In a less forgivable moment of inconsistency, the Bear Guard is just gone. It was never explained, it was never shown that he would leave his post before, and honestly, this seems like an easy fix as well. He should have just been shown dancing off screen to indicate that he was still charmed rather than standing still. The silent alarm is the spark that lights the fire of what is to come, and I kinda wish we got a little bit more bonding from the boys and Miss Chalice here, because this reminds me a lot of what I enjoyed about the ball pit car from the first season of Infinity Train, for example. And there's other episodes like this is not the only one, where everything just gets to this moment where it's more than well, it's great. They're in nirvana, in this particular instance, cookie nirvana, completely forgetting about Elder Kettle's cookie jar, their Elder Kettle's glasses, and the legality of doing this all in the first place. None of that matters right now, as they get to eat their way into a cookie coma practically. And I get it, these episodes are really short, so you really can't cut too much out without cutting out something that's important, but I would have taken out some other parts, in my opinion, just to get more emotional anticipation between the two. Like, build this up, because exactly what you think is going to happen does happen.
Chase it, boys, it's the cop! Sorry, boys. I like ya, but not enough to tangle with the cops. So long, fellas.
While in other shows, the thinness of Cuphead and Mugman as a character would make you question why the show isn't centered around Miss Chalice, who is more interesting in comparison just this episode alone, to me it makes all the sense in the world. Within the 11 other episodes, these boys have been built up to be these wild, unpredictable, impulse-driven rascals who want lots of fun and probably together can tangle with some of the best that Inkwell Isles can offer. Everyone already knows how wacky and energetic these two can be, so to see them not being able to handle Miss Chalice's level of adventure only builds her up just as much, if not more, to be a force to keep an eye on. I wasn't even expecting her to transform into a ghost, which makes her being on the run a bit odd to me. You know, why not just turn into a ghost anytime you're being chased, but I digress. Whereas in every other episode, Cuphead and Mugman find a way out, and the day is saved, and all is well, here, they do not. They try charming their way out, but they get grabbed by the police and they get sent to jail. And that's how it ends. It was an awesome cliffhanger, definitely not my favorite of the 12, but the most noteworthy of the 12. I'll get back to my favorite later on this month, hopefully. And that's why I wanted to show you this first. And I wanted to show you Miss Chalice so far. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until then, take care. Alpha out.